All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Talks with Antoine. This is part 5 of how I became the Black Sheep. Let's just jump right into it. So before I talk about where I said I was going to leave off at with the vacation, I'll say this. You never know how influential you are. You never know your impact. You never know how many people are in competition with you. You never know how many monitoring spirits that are near you until you fully step into your power and you're aware of what's going on around you, right? I had blinders on the entire time, and I'm so glad that I kind of went through this entire process because it helped me gauge individuals a lot better. Like I walked through a lot of these spaces very, very naive, right? So that's one of the lessons that I took away from this, along with, what I said prior as far as the influence. Prior to the trip, I got nothing but fear mongering, right? It was so much negative input on me taking this trip about how to, it's not safe, on how it's not safe. And, I don't know, why would you make this decision? And why would you fly this airline? And why would you want to stay there? I mean, just nothing but criticism from all angles, right? Still took the solo trip, still enjoyed myself. I got back. Again, when I talk about the influence, now everybody's talking about the trips they want to go on. Now my stepmother talking about she wants to go to London and she wants to go to the DR and they talking big shit. 2 months talking about we're going to go in October or we're going to go in November. Again, it never happened. But at the time, I never paid attention to how much of an influence I had by just making that decision to go on my own, right? To be honest with you, I was like scared shitless. I was just like, one, I got to do this for me, even though I'm afraid to do it, right? And I was like, two, I got to like step out of my comfort zone. Like a lot of that trip was for me to develop, and I didn't even realize that I was influencing other people. One, and two, I was also rubbing a lot of my family members, like immediate family members, the wrong way in taking that trip. And I'll take it back another year when I talk about your sphere of influence. So when I broke up with my ex that night had went out and fucked another person. Right when my ex went out and fucked another person, I decided to go buy a brand new car. Right, so it's a luxury vehicle. This is a vehicle that I always wanted. Not the vehicle itself, the brand, right? It's a brand that I always wanted. I've always been this fanboy of this brand since I was a kid. Like, I used to live right down the street from the dealership that I bought the car from, even though the buying experience was absolutely fucking horrendous and I will never buy from that ghetto ass dealership again. But definitely always been a fan. Finally got the model that was beneath the one that I wanted, and I'll explain later in the video why I did that or why I had to do that. But nonetheless, I was in the brand and I was happy about it, right? All of a sudden now my mother wants a brand new car. And I'm gonna expose her a little bit here, right? My mother was not in a financial position because she was upside down in the first car, like $8,000 or $9,000, and was riding around with like a 500 something credit score. So she wasn't able to roll over that old debt into another used loan, right? With like subprime credit. So she had my grandmother open up a credit union account and to put the car in her name. And I said, the vehicle that you're getting now, which is a newer model of the vehicle that you had before, both of those vehicles depreciate disgustingly. I mean, worse than the brand that I'm in. And I'm in a German vehicle, right? And we know that they're famous for not holding value. But I mean, ridiculously, it depreciates. So you're already $9,000 upside down in the very first car. You rolled that over, put it in your mama's name, and I know that car is depreciating too because you drive so much. Like you will average 16, 17,000 miles a year in that vehicle. So I know it's tanking in value. I know you're pushing 100,000 miles right now. I know for a fact you are because you bought the car with high miles to begin with, right? Relatively high miles for a luxury car to begin with. And then I was like, I pushed that to the side. It was a very, congratulations. I thought there was going to be support on both ends, but then I started getting underhanded comments about the comparison of two. They're coming at me about my accomplishment. Again, secret competition, something that I didn't realize. Now, the model that I wanted was a model higher than the model that I got within this brand. And I was like, I'm going to take the sacrifice. because my sister needed a car, right? So she just got her vehicle repossessed. Couldn't afford the payments on it. It was quote unquote leaking oil. So she was just like, all right, I'm gonna just give that back to the dealership. So I come to her house on her doorstep, and she's like in tears, and these are all fucking crocodile tears because 2 years later, the bitch is stabbing me in my motherfucking back. So again, I never help them niggas again, ever in life. I let her use my car, my original car, before I had bought this new one, for almost a year. And the reason why I said I never help her out again, even prior to her stabbing me in the back, is because she was never on time with the car payments. I would have to track this bitch down every time the car payment is due, because she'll go a week without talking to me, knowing that the damn car payment is due, and won't pay me. The car payment due on Wednesday, I have to text on Sunday, hey, you got the note? Oh, I got it. I get it next Tuesday. We're a whole week behind, right? This shit is on my motherfucking credit. And I didn't even have the best credit at the time. Now, I grew up, I got my shit together. But for you to be almost 40 years old and you can't pay your bills on time, for my mother to be almost 60 years old and she's still putting shit in her mama name, I had to do some self-reflection and give myself a little grace, because I was so hard on myself about not being financially responsible. I never grew up in a household that niggas were financially responsible. You know what I'm saying? So I let her use that for a year. She kind of like rides the car rough as shit. By the time we go sell that shit to CarMax, at the end of the year, that shit was fucked up. It was riding rough. It started rough. Like, it just wasn't the same vehicle that I had gave her. You know what I mean? And I had to also realize that she just hard on shit. And she was probably especially hard on shit that wasn't hers, because the shit was in my name, let alone her paying the note on time. But that influence, right? You went through any means necessary to get a new vehicle so that way you feel like you're competing. And then with my sister, you're giving me crocodile tears and then fucking me over financially afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So jumping back into the goddamn trip. I wanted to stay on the phone with my mother once I had landed, because I was booked a private transfer from the airport to the resort that was 45 minutes away. And I was the only one in the vehicle. I'm technically in a third world country. So I was like, hey, can you just stay on the phone with me, until I get out there? I'm getting like all types of huffing and puffing and like kind of just being dismissive. Again, I'm not picking up on any of that. I said, oh, maybe she's just annoyed because I want to stay on the phone. But you're going to stay on the phone with me because I'm in a fucking third world country. Like, and I'm by myself. Like, bitch, come on, that's the least you could do. I called her for breakfast one morning on my birthday. I still got like this kind of like off-putting ass attitude. I called my sister on my birthday during the trip too, off-putting ass attitude. And I'm like, these are the two people that I thought that was the closest to me the whole entire time, that not only they were feeding me negative shit before I went on this trip, they were talking shit about me, about going on this trip, just for them to talk their shit about what they had planned on going or what they had planned on doing once I got back, right? This entire time, I'm like doing a lot of self-reflecting, and I didn't even realize the negative energy that I was getting just because I decided to take a trip out the country. Then when I got back, there was rumors about me flying first class and me staying at like a 6-star resort. Now like just being really, really fucking dramatic. Like, oh, I don't know why you fly first class. Oh, you did this, and that, and you rich in your own head. I'm just getting all of this gossip coming from my sister, and she doesn't even realize that it's coming back to me through the motherfuckers that she's talking shit to. And I'm sitting there like, one, I never flew first class, baby. I just flew Comfort Plus. And girl, the tickets were on sale. The airport just opened up. Girl, it was actually a deal, right? The deal was also me getting the hotel room. I had points. So I used said points to get a room upgrade. Like, you don't even, if you would have just asked on how I was able to do these things, or how I was able to map out better experiences as far as hotel stays and flights, you could have just asked that. Like, I did a lot of research prior to doing this. It wasn't me just trying to be extravagant spending money, but a person who's never traveled like that and who's not aware of how point systems work, how credit cards work, and how reward stays work, or, you know, those tiers of systems, those tiers and systems, they just automatically think you're dropping a bag on shit. No, that's not actually true. So again, when I got back and like heard all of that, I was just like, damn, like now the division is really separating, right? After I heard the rumors about me being like this delinquent and like this person that you can't be around, so she could put me in a space of isolation. I don't know why my dumb ass thought that they were still going to support me when I went on this trip. I don't know where the hell my head was at. But shit, now I know better. Like, now I can peep the signs when niggas are in competition with me. Now I can peep the signs where individuals are not really for me, because God damn it, I went my entire life not even realizing that she was in competition with me, that my mother secretly actually didn't like me. And I'm wondering if that was because I may be a reflection of like my father in lots of ways. So she built some type of resentment. I don't know. Something we're working out in therapy. But yeah, all of that transpired, right? And I'm gonna drag this video out a little longer because I kind of want to cover more time. So all of July happens, not much happens in that. August rolls around. Matter of fact, the end of July, my father came up here to come see us. I think it was like the end of July, the beginning of August, somewhere around here. So we all go to Red Robin to have lunch or whatever. We all linked up. My father, my mom, and like my sister, and she ended up bringing one of her boy toys. So she was trying to introduce my parents to him like he's her boyfriend. So he brings his kid, and then I got my niece and my nephew there as well. So I knew something was strange, right? So when she introduced me to him, my father was like, "Oh, have y'all met?" She like jumps up and says no. He was giving standoff vibes to me, so I know she was talking shit about me prior to coming to the restaurant, because he was kind of dismissive of me, and I was like, I don't even know you like that for you to even be giving off that type of energy. And he was giving off that type of energy to everybody at the table as well, like to an extent. Like my father was trying to make funny with him, and he was coming off like real guarded. It was whatever the hell she put in his goddamn head is the reason why he was coming off like that. Come to find out, he was the whore at the job. I was like, damn, two whores then got together. She was the hoe at the last job. She was the hoe at this job that we were at when we were working together. Apparently, he was a man whore, and I ended up finding that out later on. And they were together. Like, they were fucking around. She's saying that, we're just friends. That's not the way you portrayed that when we all went to Red Robin. So like, I'm getting weird ass energy from him. I'm getting weird ass energy from her. And that was kind of like the final straw for me. I'm not going to lie to you. So the next day, my father was supposed to come over her house. They all end up coming over the house. I text him, hey, I can't make it, da 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 da. My sister texted me the next morning, was just like, oh, I know how you feel now since you didn't want to show up, this, that, and the third. I'm like, nah, bitch, for the last 4 months, you've been treating me like shit. And now you expect for me to now want to be in your space. Like, no, we're not even about to play that game. So she made it seem like I'm just mad at her and that she's just a victim and she don't know why I feel that way. So I like handled the conversation super mature. It was a very mature conversation. I asked her to be cordial when we went on our trip, but I was just like, bitch, I just can't be around you because you're a fucking weirdo. And that's basically summing that up there, right? So the next video is going to be about the trip itself when we had went to Florida, and that was our family trip. So yeah, let me wrap this up here. This has been Talks with Antoine. Peace.